Hi guys, welcome to the second part of our video. One of the biggest mistakes that athletes are making is not training strategically. When I say that, I mean regardless of your fencing skills level, regardless how good you are as an athlete, as a fencer, you need to have a plan what you're working on. And most of the time, or 99% of the time, everybody comes to the fencing club and trying to win all the bouts, and that's the goal. I think literally that's the goal. And if they don't win certain bouts, it's literally the end of the world. And when we start talking about like what did you work on, or I mean whatever the question is, and there's no specific answer. It's like
Yeah, it's almost. I really got frustrating not winning. It's the most common
or
answer.
they keep fencing the same person until they win against this person,
Yes.
but this person doesn't want to fence anymore bouts for tonight with this fencer, so it's
Yes.
becoming like a mess. And we do know losing sucks. We've been there, and actually Chris was better at training strategically than I was. For me, when I wasn't winning my bouts at the practice, I thought that my practices are not doing well. And compared to Chris, he was always focusing on certain, whether it's a parry, whether it's a taco, or other, skills. And I think his training was way smarter, even though at the moment you feel like, oh, I'm losing. But I think you need to focus on the certain elements rather than thinking about winning, because when you're going to the tournaments you fence different fencers and you don't know their skills, and if you just practice with your own teammates just to win against them, that's why we have so many questions when our certain fencers are going to the tournaments. Well, how do I fence this fencer? Well, if you practice different skills at the fencing club, you're not going to have an issue. So have certain things, practice certain things. But one thing I need to mention is you cannot be good at everything. You need to know that. And you cannot try to be the greatest at every single skill. So whatever you're talented at, there are plenty of skills in fencing. Make sure you're the best at it. So I think that's the biggest
Yes,
takeaway.
for me, it's kind of having the uniqueness, and you can work on your uniqueness in practice. Like, this can be your strategy. It's like, I want to do the closeout the way nobody else can do it. I want to be able to break the distance like nobody else can do it. I want to be able to finish my attacks like nobody else, or do the beat as fast as only I can do it, or as unique as I can do it. So it's
Yeah.
like, you may know the person can do the same thing 10 times, and then they still get you 9 times, and there is nothing you can do about it because they maybe just way too good at it. So the uniqueness is very important part. I mean, we 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 deliver the kind of the skills to pretty much almost the same skill to the table. We bring the same skill to the table, but then the fencers have to kind of work their own way of really edging what can be improved and make it unique for themselves. Because it may maybe just this one thing that can be able to pull you off at the most stressful moment. Those can be things that can be the
Absolutely.
most effective for you.
And we've seen them, especially with the lines.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing is having your phone during practice. And the reason I'm saying that is I don't want anybody to feel like, even we're talking with our fencers, it's not like I don't like the idea of sometimes when you have a 2 minute break or whatever it is for you to look at your phone and you're getting distracted. It's more like you're checking your messages and you're checking your social media, and I've seen shift of like mood and energy completely, because whether somebody told them something, I don't even know what's happening in their phone, but I can tell it's not a reaction we want to see. So the moment you get into the fencing club, unless it's an emergency call or something, I honestly feel like you should completely disconnect with the social media, because you really want to invest your time, focus and everything into the training. So that's something that literally a lot of fencers and athletes, I think. I was going to do a compilation of videos like little clips of how our fencers are training and how everybody's on their phone when they have their water break, and it's just like
Yeah.
no good.
You're not gonna miss the world like in for 1 minute. So, but this is again, this counts for everyone. It's like, even with us, even while giving lessons, like right now when I have my watch, that's very easy for me to kind of make sure that it's not something emergency, and then I can keep going. But in the meantime, again, this is the same with school. When you go to school, focus on your school. When you go to practice, focus on practice. When you're at home and you're studying, study. Like, if you want to have some break and really kind of have some 10 minutes kind of to relax, or just to kind of set yourself away, that's a different story. But in general, again, it's like, and my dad saying the same thing is like, once you walk through the door, then you're in the fencing world. Pretty much once you walk out the door, then you're in the outside world. So it's pretty much, again, it's like this counts for everything. If you want to be successful in something and good at it, then put 100% effort in it, or even more if you can. But again, in general, it's dedicate yourself to what you do so you can see the result of it.
So the next thing I have is everybody's thinking that only when you're at the fencing club, that's the only time you gotta train. You don't have to train behind the scenes. You don't have to do anything extra, and you're gonna be excellent. And I mean, there's some fencers that are very talented, and they really don't do extra work. But here's the problem: once they hit a certain, like a wall or something, and something doesn't go their way in a tournament or a season, they're completely lost because they have never did anything outside of whatever they're doing. So, watching your fencing videos when you're at home, when you have time. I'm sure you have guys time. I don't think that everybody's telling me I don't have time, and when we check how many hours you spend on Instagram or on your Facebook or whatever, it's like hours and hours. Watching fencing videos of successful fencers, watching something about your mindset. There's so many things you can do, so don't just get stuck with, oh, I'm working certain amount of hours per week at the fencing club and that's it, I don't need to do anything else. You can do a lot more if you want to improve. No matter how good or not so good you are, you can do so much, right?
Correct. Yes, it's and it's so many things that you can learn from practice. They can help your work outside of practice. It's like this is the same as like there are so many compilation videos out there as well that you can go and you can watch how the closeout is done in details, the parry repulse, the break distance in the last moment, feint disengage at the end of the attack, like working in the middle. It's like so many things that can be improved, and they have to do it again with the speed, the agility, endurance. Like your workout really depends on it, and it's again that's gonna be things. It's an amateur sport. Our fencing is an amateur sport, so it's very important what's the something extra that you do to make yourself better than the other person. Because sometimes things are so close, many bouts are just done by 1 point difference, and sometimes this extra work that you can put in on the side can make a big difference at the very end.
Oh,
and that can be in many bouts, because you can be we kind of experienced so many times that fencers were so close and didn't get it, and many times how they were so close and most of the time they did get it. So it's really where again you can take a deep breath and say, I've done all the work. You can sometimes give it absolutely all and still not make it happen, but again it's that it's not going to be one of the reasons.
And knowing that you gave your all pretty much is what's important. The next thing I wrote on my list is the thinking the athlete is too good. So when you're a very good athlete, when you're successful from the start, there are those cases that exist. It's very easy to start kind of ignoring the other fencers and thinking you're too good. You should not fence with for beginners or whoever is in your class. And that's the biggest mistake, because sometimes those kids that are coming after you, they're catching up, and sometimes they're exceeding, the results. So I think that you can never underestimate anybody, whether it's a practice or whether it's a tournament. Every single fencer that you can fence with, you're going to find a way to improve, no matter the skill level. I think that's another huge mistake that a lot of athletes are doing, because sometimes they fence with 2-3 very good fencers in the club, and there's like, I fenced everybody, I'm done. Well, what do you mean you're done? It's like, you're not done. It's just the beginning. You're done because you don't want to do any more work, or you don't see a benefit of fencing somebody who is not as good as you are, which is no good, right?
Yeah, so it's like my dad says, if you can beat everyone 5-0 and 15-0, then do so. That's how you're going to make yourself better. That's how you're going to make them better. It's really, again, it's... what were you talking about again?
If you think you're too good.
Yes, so it's like you're not fencing names. Like you need to understand that always on the other side there is a fencer, and if you do the right action, then you should get the point. And this is crucial, because again it's all the little things that we talked about. They're matter of, again, split moment, split decision, like And again, the fencer that is good, there is a reason there something's better. Is their timing, is their reach, is their footwork, their speed, something is making them being better. So if you're able to again narrow it down to what that is and you're able to adjust, then you have the best chance of succeeding against those fencers.
Absolutely.
Another thing we talked about that's the same is, oh my gosh, this fencer is an A-rated fencer. And I, from my very early stages when I would compete, or no, when I would coach actually, I would never remember when I would look at the D's and nobody would have known me before, and then I would look and some of the coaches or the fencers will look at the table and say, oh, I'm going to fence this guy. It was Holston back then. Oh, I'm going to fence this guy and then I'm going to fence that guy. And then that's all I needed actually to say to him because he was very competitive, and then he took him apart. So, again, it's everything is very competitive right now. Everyone is working hard.
Yeah.
And again, if you win a tournament, I mean, immediately you're going to have a target on your back.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of, I kind of see it nowadays more like, I need to be more cautious against this person rather than being scared of this person. It's like, if this person can do it, they do something different than everyone else. So then we need to pay extra attention on whether they're doing better. So then we are prepared to fence them. That's it. So we just need to get on the strip with the right mindset and the right skill set to be able to make sure that we have a chance of winning against this fencer. Everyone is beatable. Again, nobody's been undefeated. At the end, again, this is fencing. So
whoever does less mistakes, pretty much.
as the saying, and the saying is like you're gonna lose a lot more than you're gonna win. So it's kind of that's usually how it balances out at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So the last one I have on the list is not because I don't have anything more to say for the mistakes athletes are doing or fencers. It's more like we can cut these videos as well shorter. So it's the proper diet. When I say diet, don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody to be starving or anything, but a lot of issues we have when kids are very nervous about the tournament in the morning, they're not eating breakfast. This is absolutely like, I understand how they feel because I've been there. And the problem is that the fencing tournament goes a very long hours. Sometimes it can be 10 hours. It's just depending on the delays, depending how many rounds, depending so many things. So you gotta find something that's gonna fill your stomach and you're not gonna be hungry. And regardless what that is, make sure it works for you and practice that during smaller tournaments instead of like going to nationals and you're a pretty good level. You train so hard and all of a sudden because you didn't have your breakfast after the pulse, you're completely like gassed out. I think that's something that you guys have to think about.
Yeah, it's just the routine of, again, getting yourself ready and see, again, it's what works and what doesn't. And the earlier you start doing this, the sooner you can get into the right regiment of really, again, understanding what your body needs and what works better and what doesn't. Is it more fluid? Is it like
bars or whatever
snacks?
It is.
Or
Fruit.
also we had many situations where we would go somewhere on East Coast and it's 3-hour difference, and then they would wake up earlier, so they're used to doing the right thing.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we're gonna see you later with our other videos. The little one woke up, so we gotta cut it. And I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to our channel so you see more videos and be the first one to watch it. So thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.